Hello and welcome to another day of StarLadder Season 6, day number 18. And we have got ourselves the 5th game of the day, if I'm correct, of a day where there is in total 7 games. We'll see Empire taking on KP for this one, with Mouse versus IC Cup, following up after this one, and DD versus TCM to close the night. But KP and Empire will be in the spotlights for this game, and we will be bringing you all the information you need with a team of 3.5, because Hjort has got an assistant. Apparently for today is Maria helping him out. Hjort will be the statsman for today. We have got my co-caster with me, of course, the one that you will hear. It is Kanaz. Welcome back.
Happy to be here.
So last game we saw Empire drafting a Tidehunter, a Shadow Shaman, a Necrolite. What are you expecting for this game?
I hope they continue drafting crazy things, and I hope that it works out better for them.
I agree. I think that if they want to win, maybe they should stick to the things that have been tested and tried. But hey, I'm not gonna deny that it's not fun to see those kind of heroes in games. So, you know, I'm not too sad if they go for something else. So we see a Wisp ban as well as a Lifestealer, Bad Rider, and a Shadow Demon. So far, not really anything really out of the ordinary. Nyx Assassin as a first pick for Empire. It's a hero that, you know, brings a lot to the team in terms of gank ability, but will probably be played as support, and indeed will leave the Lone Druid in the pool, which KP will secure for them, and a Chen also for them. And by the way, one thing that is interesting to note is normally we saw KP going for first pick if they had the choice. This time they had the choice and they go for Dire Side.
Yeah, this new patch, I think first pick, second pick is way closer. So they're just thinking, well, we want to make sure that we have the best map position because it doesn't matter too much draft order. At least that's probably what they're thinking, and there aren't as many heroes that are like auto first pick, I think, as they once were. Since we're still seeing like Lifestealer and Bat Rider getting Wisp banned out. So yeah, I can see why some teams might start favoring this, where if they get to choose either side or pick, they're going to start choosing side.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, if you are second pick, it means that you get 2 heroes of the early pool, which is great. It means that you get to pick first after the second and third banning phase. So that is all quite nice to have, and KP, they are profiting from that. They are going to be up against a Keeper of the Light, so a Nyx Assassin, Keeper of the Light, already creating a strong combination there in form of a potential trialing, but KP instantly replying with that ban on the Phantom Lance and realizing what could be possible, and they don't want to deal with it. By the way, for the people wondering, no, today there is no Sing Sing stand-in. Stand-ins for KP are Clairvoyance and Gardner, or Garter. Garter has been standing in for KP for a longer time, as of course you will never see Arteezy in StarLadder, or mostly never unless he skips school, because he is still in high school. So he is at school right now because he's from the other side of the ocean, so a different time zone and all that jazz. And as for Bone 7, he's not able to be here tonight. For Empire, they're playing with 2 stand-ins as well, but we already saw last game that Screen has been playing a lot already with Empire and has been in that driver's seat for quite a while, and SFG also one of their solid stand-ins that we have seen often. So yeah, let's see what the next ban is going to be for KP. We have got another support ban for Empire. It was the Rubik that they put out of the draft. Of course, one more support needed for KP, and Empire, in fact, already has got both their support, so they don't really need anything more, and that leaves Empire with all the freedom in the world to ban out any kind of supports that they do not want to face.
Yeah, so banning out supports right now is kind of, I mean, there's a lot of supports already picked up with Keeper Light, Nyx Assassin, and Chen, all picked up in the first 4 picks, but they're taking out some more. They know that they're going to be up against just a dual lane, effectively, with the Chen. The jungle's like a 2.5 lane, and they tried to take out some of the supports that are good at setting things up as such, working on their own, like Shadow Demon, like Rubik, and also Bane, all being the ones that are taken out now. So I could see those bans being relevant. They're leaving the cores in because you just really can't ban out all of the cores that could potentially be picked up, and probably expecting KP to continue going with their last pick for carries, which is kind of what they've been doing, unless they're planning on running a really hard carry Lone Druid in the hands of Eternal Envy. I don't think I've seen Eternal Envy play fair, but it's certainly possible.
No, we'll probably see him play the Dragon Knight instead. All Knight is a hero that we have seen in the mid lane, of course, often, so would also put us in a position where I think it's the first time that we'll see Garter on something else but a Magnus, because I think we've only seen him play Magnus when he was playing with KP. We do have the Bane also banned out and a Gyrocopter for Empire, so looking solid there, but yeah, you're right, I haven't seen Clairvoyance that often playing a Lone Druid, or even at all, as he normally plays more traditional hard carry heroes.
Eternal Envy.
That's who I meant, yeah. Oh, that's because he put the CV in his name.
Yeah, hashtag Clairvoyance saves the world, apparently.
Yep. Apparently he is saving the world. And there's a Brewmaster. Now that is one that has had a lot of talk. As I threw something on the floor, that's okay. Brewmaster, one of the heroes that you normally already get an Aghanims on.
Remaining.
And now the Aghanims gets buffed.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, it gets sort of buffed. They took damage away from the Fire Panda and then gave all of them the ability to do more damage with the crits. So they kind of like, on average, do similar amounts of damage, but it makes the damage more spread out so that you can't just focus on the Fire Panda and suddenly like the Brewmaster split doesn't really hurt that bad. It just becomes like a control elements. So it's like it's a buff, but it's not like as huge a buff as some of these other Aghanim Scepter changes are.
Now the big part, of course, about this buff is that you would normally already get an Aghanims, while on other heroes you wouldn't. So that is taken into account here. As I believe it was, I don't know, I watched some kind of thing on it that the Brewmaster was determined to be one of the biggest Aghanims buffs purely because you already pick it up on the Brewmaster anyways.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point to make, that he already buys Aghanims, so any sort of buff is good because it's an already like core item for him.
It's a free buff, while the other ones have to be paid for, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. So it's like just a straight buff to Brewmaster because he almost always goes like Blink Dagger into Aghanims, whereas a lot of those other heroes who got the new Aghanims effects like Ancient Apparition, they really weren't ever picking up. Like, well, he didn't pick it up because he didn't have an effect before, but like Shadow Shaman, he got a buff to Aghanim Scepter, and he never really picked up Aghanim Scepter, at least not till really late game.
Yeah, if you're a support Shadow Shaman, that takes a long time to gather up. Your team has to be doing really well already. And you might not even get to that late game because of that. Shadow Shaman, actually, talking about him, he gets banned. With the Darkseer getting banned on the side of KP. And they end up going with the Vengeful Spirit, so that's the second time that we see her today. Of course, one of the more roaming supports, or one of the best roaming supports, and if you pair her up with the Chen, of course, very nice combination, especially if Chen picks himself up a Centaur, so he can follow up on that magic missile from the Venge. And one more pick for Empire left to do. I mean, in terms of carry, though, I think we are going to see a Lone Druid for Eternal Envy with a Nature's Prophet on the off lane and Dragon Knight in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. They could also do Nature's Prophet mid Lone Druid off Dragon Knight as the carry, if they want to switch those around a little bit. I think I favor just playing Lone Druid as carry with Dragon Knight in the mid lane, but they have the option, and it will really come down to what Eternal Envy feels like he wants to play as his carry, since he always does play the really hard carry role.
Yeah, it really determines what kind of role he wants to have in the game as Empire. 30 seconds left inside their bonus time, so plenty of time to think about their last pick. We're probably going to see Brewmaster in the mid lane. Tri lane from Empire with a Gyrocopter there, so either it's going to be an aggressive one and they need a safe lane farmer, or we are going to see once again Light of Heaven's Windrunner. Be prepared. Last time we saw him actually farming on the safe lane, yesterday I believe, on the Windrunner.
Yeah, it was solo still, right? I think he ended up just safe lane solo.
Oh, no? yeah, Windrunner safe lane solo, yes.
Yeah, it was because they ran the aggressive tri-lane.
Yeah.
Which they could do again. It'll depend on what they think KP are really doing with their lanes. If they think it's going to be like Nature's Prophet bottom, then they can try and run Windrunner down there, it's pretty good.
And we'll see what they go for. At least Light of Heaven already picks up that Windrunner, so far no real surprise coming out as we're waiting for the last one to pick up his hero. It is Scandal that needs to secure the Brewmaster for himself, so in terms of lanes, in terms of mid lanes, that is going to be the case. We actually see Garter picking up the Dragon Knight, so that is going to be the one that will be in the mid lane, and then Eternal Envy will be farming on the Lone Druid. As well, maybe unless they swap. But for Empire, Light of Heaven playing his signature hero, the Windrunner. It is Screen on the Keeper of the Light playing a support here. Blow Your Brain playing the Gyrocopter with Scandal, playing the Brewmaster for his team on the Radiant side, and the last stand is SFG, the Nyx Assassin, who already picked himself up a Smoke, playing for Empire on the Radiant side.
And on the Dire side, we're going to have KP, he got me too. Eternal Envy going to be playing the Lone Druid up in the top lane. Mid lane will be Garter on the Dragon Knight. The two supports up in the top lane going to be Come With Me on the Chen and Pylai on the Vengeful Spirit. And finally, their off lane will be this other stand-in Clairvoyance playing the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen him play. I know that he was actually part of a team that Envy wanted to make at some point before he joined KP, and the only two members were Clairvoyance and Envy, and then Envy left for KP and Clairvoyance was left without a team and started casting instead. And yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how he does here. He's not going to be on the easy lane for sure, with the Keeper of Light there as well as a Nyx Assassin, but then again, he is a Nature's Prophet, and he will probably just be going inside that jungle when he realizes he can't get anything done, or if he realizes he can't get anything done, because of course that remains to be seen for now, as he will try to check out on that rune. Let's see if he's lucky. Yes, he is, but it's a regen rune, so who cares about that, even though his Treants are able to deny it. Doesn't really matter that much. And we are seeing a safe trial lane coming off from Empire. So safe trial lane, suicide lane for Light of Heaven on his Windrunner, and so far pretty standard lanes then coming out from both teams.
Yeah, and I think this is what makes the most sense for Empire in this game. Light of Heaven should have a pretty decent time up in this top lane against just Venge and the Lone Druid. They don't really have a particularly good way of killing Windrunner. Light of Heaven already taken some harass though. It's gonna know that there's a lane ward there as a result of this.
Yeah, well, there was a man fight mid, and it went actually on for a very long time. In the end, it was Kanaz that actually won, but Garter, he popped himself a salve, so he is actually quite ahead right now. Shame he's not level 2, so no Dragon Tail for him. And he actually takes a lot of harassment from the creeps now as well, as there will also be Scandal eating some tangos to get himself back up because he doesn't have a salve. I mean, both of these mid heroes won't really die unless they really misplay or try to overextend, and that is really easy if you go for these kind of man fights and think you can get ahead. But we'll see how they'll do up against each other. In theory, neither should die. And even with the Bottle Crow nerf, they'll probably still Bottle Crow to keep themselves up.
Yeah, pretty much both these heroes going to be Bottle Crowing, I think. And Scandal should get a lot of farm on this Brewmaster, to be honest. And if he does that and starts getting involved in teamfights mid-game, he can do pretty well. And Brewmaster is very strong against Lone Druid. Yep. Just because you can Tornado the bear, keep it completely out of a fight. And Lone Druid, the hero, then, is pretty easy to kill when his bear is like flying in the sky.
Yeah, we saw it yesterday, I believe, and that was even without Brewmaster being buffed. So he was already strong then in the game. Let's see what he can do now that he is buffed, as we'll probably see Scandal with an Aghanim. And as you said, I mean, he's farming really solidly here. Normally, Brewmaster can be in the mid regardless, because he can just pump out that miss chance as well. But yeah, this time he'll actually have free farm. Wait a second, Clairvoyance might be in a bit of trouble. Impale will hit. Is there any follow-up damage, though? It doesn't look like it, apart from the right click. Garter comes in just to make sure that nobody goes for his comrade stand-in. And Clairvoyance is thinking about what he's doing. Runs back to the lane. Well, he's level 2, not too bad to be fair. You can be comparing him to the Windrunner, Light of Heaven, stacking some neutrals. He is level 1 still, trying to get something done, but not that successful. As we're back in the mid lane, because that looks to be the most interesting lane to watch right now.
Yeah, as is kind of common when we'll see both teams run the defensive tri lanes. The only place that farm is being contested very heavily is that mid lane. Clairvoyance has got a couple assets in the bottom lane. Light of Heaven's gotten a little bit of farm just killing off some neutrals. But neither having a great time thus far, and Clairvoyance has to be careful again.
Yeah, the mana burn will be there. He can't do anything, can't Sprout, can't TP. Well, he doesn't have Sprout to begin with, but yeah, it's just stuck on the lane right now. I mean, even if he now decides to go for the jungle, he can't really create treants. So you need to just wait anyway, so why not try and wait and try to get some experience while you wait. Oh, look at what the bear does. Lone Druid trying to pull the creep wave away, giving him some space to go for a bit of aggression on this tier 1 tower. Eternal Envy laying down some pressure, trying to force someone back from Empire perhaps, but not successfully so. Everybody just still sticking around on the bottom lane. Screen could actually go there and land some Illuminators, maybe try and get something out of that, but they'd rather still stick on the bottom lane and get some extra farm in the jungle, as Garter once again gets harassed away. He is 13-1, with Scandal sitting on 19-2, so getting a bit ahead there in the mid lane. As you already pointed out, that would happen.
Yeah, just Scandal's AoE is a little bit better for farming than Garter's. His Dragon Knight doesn't really spam well.
It looks like Light of Heaven might be in a bit of trouble, but it's just an invis rune for Pilot Die. We'll be able to chase it down, but not going to be getting a kill with that. Maybe not. Courier will be safe as well. Pilot Die. Not sure what he is thinking about accomplishing here, but he will be forced back. He did take the rune away from Light of Heaven. And was not able to go for a good setup with that either, unfortunately. As the first bot is still on the table. Who are you expecting to die first? Yeah.
Alright, time for the super guess. Who would I think is going to die first?
And who will get the kill?
Yeah, and who makes it so easy. Top lane doesn't really look particularly likely since no one's up there. Live Heaven's making his way back, and if he does something silly, he could die pretty quickly. What level's Eternal Envy? 6? It's probably mid lane, and then the Garter. I think he's most likely to make a mistake if Scandal's ult now.
Oh yeah. And 7 different carries in the last 8 games. That's a lot of different styles to go for as a carry player, but seemingly okay. Oh, they land the sun up on Light of Heaven on the top lane, but the bear doesn't chase, so no entangles there. I'm actually not quite sure who's going to be the first blood, obviously. I was also going to say Garter, but since you already said it, I don't feel like I can still say that anymore. But I do want to point out that SFG has actually still, since the start of the game, got a smoke in his bags, and he hasn't used it yet. And maybe with that, if Screen also comes along, they might be able to take down Garter in the mid lane. And also, especially if of course, Scandal has got that ulti form going, and he can actually pop that right now if he wants to. If he wants to dive past the tower, though, and that's going to be a big dive that he would not do without a quick wave there. Come With Me hasn't really ganked, which is something that we normally see him do, I believe, on his Chen. But then again, it's a really tough hero to gank. Scandal is really tanky, and you have to imagine that the 2 shutdowns that they would have with the magic missile as well as maybe a centaur or something would probably not be enough time to take down Scandal. And on top of that, right now he has of course got that split and could easily turn a fight against you. And you can't really risk it either. So yeah, Light of Heaven is a good guess for first blood if there's going to be an entangle there at the wrong time. Clairvoyance though, still sitting at level 2 on this bottom lane as well, still not making his way towards the jungle, and compared to Light of Heaven is actually sitting a bit higher right now at level 3. So getting a bit better out of that, as Light of Heaven has got 11 last hits, with Clairvoyance sitting at 6-2. Now he'll go back to base, get some more mana, and probably will be going into the jungle. If he only picks up a town portal scroll, so who knows where he's gonna go, really. No, bottom lane. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's trying to just let Chen jungle, which is somewhat surprising. You can make arguments either way. Like, Clairvoyance could be getting farm on this Nature's Prophet, trying to get stuff done that way, and eventually be able to like get up Midas and try and catch up. But at the same time, Chen can get a quick mechanism, and they usually do give Come With Me quite a bit of farm on his 4-role support. He can start moving around and be very involved with keeping his team alive during like the mid-game fights. If they want to try and force issues, then I don't necessarily know that KP have to though. Not with like Lone Druid, Nature's Prophet, and Dragon Knight on their side. So I mean, we'll end up seeing what they're going to go for, but looks like the tower in top lane is probably going to be what it is now.
Yeah, going down. The stun also hits up on Light of Heaven. The bear not looking for entangles though. KP still playing fairly safe in that regard, as yeah. That's a bit of their playstyle. We've seen that not just this game, but over the course of all the games they have played. They are a very careful team. They used to play, well I say used, but like last week they played a lot of 4+1 kind of strat. Right now this seems to be a bit changed, basically just with their heroes saying otherwise. But still a team that likes to take games into late game, as we do now have the smoke being used. It is SFG, he wants to go for Clairvoyance, just need that impale, but already the Triumph, nicely done by Clairvoyance, scouting out the Nyx Assassin, so the gank hereby failed, and we have a big cloud of heroes roaming around, going into the jungle with the lane being completely pushed out. Nobody trying to pull the lane back right now because the creep camps actually just got cleared out without really trying to pull. And this is creating a bit of space for Light of Heaven. He is getting a lot more right now than Clairvoyance was hoping to get. So this was an early tower for KP. They get some gold advantage for it, but it also give a lot away in terms of allowing Light of Heaven to farm there for free.
Yeah, you kind of have to start questioning what their plan is with this Nature's Prophet. When he's been down bottom, not really doing anything for somewhat long now. He's only seeing at level 4 Light of Heaven. He's at level 5.
No money for you.
And like Clairvoyance is basically getting out-leveled by the supports on the Radiant side now. They have a little bit more experience than him, and that's not really ideal. They do have a level 7 Chen though, and a level 6 Vengeful Spirit, because both were basically farming in the jungle by themselves, with Ben just running pulls constantly, and Chen jungling the area where Nature's Prophet would normally be. But they're gonna have this like pretty terrible tree guy in the near future, where he's gonna be very vulnerable to gank, and he's not really gonna have any items picked up. He picks up some boots. I don't know. It feels like maybe it's time for Come With Me to stop farming and they start laying Clairvoyance get some.
Yep. We do know Nature's Prophets in theory. I mean, if you get yourself a Hand of Midas, you will be able to catch up. But I mean, as you say, I mean, it's gonna take a while to catch up. Now, if you do try to make this game as long as possible, you will, in theory, give Clairvoyance time to farm up, but it's not ideal, especially not when Empire is looking to get a Blink Dagger up on Scandal, is for now playing fairly passive as well, because why would they try to change it? They need that Blink Dagger for Scandal to be aggressive, and maybe then an Aghanims after, or maybe even an Aghanims beforehand, depends on what you really want to do. And Blow Your Brain is getting nice farm as well. He's 72 to 27, he is actually right now ahead compared to a Lone Druid. And one thing that needs to be said, we saw Eternal Envy earlier on already clearing out the the jungle camp, including the small camp. So his last hits actually mean a bit less right now than the last hits of the Gyrocopter. And in terms of net worth, we still have Envy ahead though, and of course a big deal with that is the tower that we saw him taken down.
Yeah, he didn't actually get the last hit though. It went to just the creep wave. Still, they have a tower advantage, and that helps him get ahead. And he's got a couple more last hits than the Gyrocopter this. Also, Envy picked up a Midas, which is pretty much exactly what I expected from him. So that's also going to help kind of accelerate his farm further and further ahead of that Gyrocopter. We went for a more aggressive mid-game oriented build, as is typical of the Empire.
Yep. And we do have some wards also placed. Looks like KP actually laying down some pressure in the mid lane as well as on the top lane. Mid lane actually double damage dragon is not really something that is easy to deal with. A Scandal just tries to make him miss a couple of times, but the tower already down to half HP. And with the bear bashing on a tier 3, you have to divide your forces and you have to let one of the towers go or force someone back by trying to take a fight. But look at Garda with that double damage rune, it's almost running out. But he is able to take down most of the tower, and he's actually almost going to put it in the Nightmare. Scandal, careful, will be forced to oh, he can't split because the stuns were there. Dragon Tails as well, the Centaur stun to the tower goes down. Garda picks it up, first blood as well as the tower. This is now a pretty farmed Dragonite all of a sudden.
Yeah, getting a first blood money and then a tower kill that he actually got the last hit on gives a ton of additional gold his way, and he pops up pretty far in the net worth to just behind the Gyrocopter, who was farming basically completely freely in that safe lane.
Yeah, and Garter, of course, indeed being a bit of a solid stand-in for KP. Arteezy is in high school, he's just very young. So he is forced to sit in school right now while his team is fighting for points in StarLadder Season 6. So basically all the weekday games that are played for most competitions that KP is playing in, most European competitions, are not possible for Arteezy to join, or Arteezy cannot join them. So bit of a downside for him, but I think good for Garter, as he's been playing really well for KP since then. And we are going to see Scandal. I mean, he just died. He couldn't get a split off. That was a huge loss for him, as well as a big delay on his Blink Dagger. He now has 1300 gold, but you know, he obviously was a bit closer beforehand. And KP, with the advantage that they have, they'll try to take down Roshan by the looks of it. Garter already being there. His illusions will be there to tank Roshan a bit, as long as your illusions don't try to attack Roshan in return. Sorry. They will be able to just stand there and not vanish as most illusions do. Oh, they want to try to go for this though. SFG comes in with a Vendetta. He has got that one, looking for a pickup, looking for something. Might go for Garter. There are no BKBs or anything just yet. Shackle doesn't like the Impale does though. Blinding Light trying to help out. Here is the split. Looking for a target. Finding a Dragonite. Bear up in the air. Cooldown coming down as well. KP, they're gonna be trying to run because of in comes Blow Your Brain. Flak cannons, rock up barrages, and Come With Me will take a fall. Garter. Clairvoyance running away on very low life as the Nyx in the end goes down to a neutral of all people. And that is a fight that actually went, I mean, it was a 1-for-1 trade in the end. The Chen going away, or well, a 1-for neutral trade, guys. Oh, screen trouble goes down to the bear. It's not over just yet. They try to go in again. Now that Scandal's ulti have ended. Entangle up on Scandal. Careful there. Here comes Lloyd Rain trying to help out, but the magic missile hits as well as the bear just continues to hit. The shackle doesn't latch again, but a nice power shot to follow it up. Garter, one more hit for going down, but he can't get it. He can't get it done. There we go. That's the crit that we were waiting for. And now the Vengeful Spirit, he is running towards his tier 2 tower. Clairvoyance comes in, nicely sprouted. Rocket Barrage and Shackle will still hit though, as we see the Vengeful Spirit dropping. Clairvoyance dries as well, and all of a sudden it is 4 for 3. And that is a fight that is very much in favor of KP. They took down 4 heroes of Empire and didn't lose a single one. Of course, I mean, we did see Nixus had someone down, but he went down to neutral, and who else went down? Because someone else did, I believe.
From Empire?
Yes.
Screen went down. Keeper got killed by Lone Druid. And actually, after Lone Druid got the kill, he left and went back to farming. And he's only a couple hundred gold at this point, like 400 off of his Radiance.
Ooh.
So he's gonna have that very quickly, and this is, I mean, it's not surprising to see Eternal Envy going for the Radiance build. It's a really, really hard carry, farm, out of control, bear build. That's really how Eternal Envy seems to play Dota as carries. He really wants to farm heavily, got the Midas, went straight to Relic, and now he's gonna have Radiance, and that's all in a pretty quick time frame. He's sitting at 8k net worth at 16 minutes. It's pretty high, 500 gold per minute.
Yeah, as the counter war just got killed off by Light of Heaven. Nicely done. Denying 100 gold to KP, who only just placed that, of course, and are now kind of shut down from trying to go for Evotion unless they try to smoke in or something like that. But they'll probably try to think twice because they just gave Empire a pretty big fight. Even though the goal is still in favor of KP and the experience graph shows it differently. 500 in favor of Empire is really not that much, but it came from the 2.5k, so they did get a lot more experience and levels from that. As we see the levels, this is a big level 11 for Brewmaster, so level 2 split and a Blink Dagger complete after that last fight. And we still have Clairvoyance sitting at level 6. He is gonna get some more levels though, as the Ancients are stacked, and he will get some experience that Garter will create for him by taking them down, as the Radiance is now indeed complete. So this is a Burning Bear. 16-minute Radiance, 16.5 minutes, definitely nice.
Yeah, he's farming very well. He's got a ton of a farm for this early in the game, and he's seeing like 50 gold per minute in front of Blur Brain, which is pretty good. We'll see if he can continue farming or if he's going to try and get involved. I kind of just expect him to keep going with the farm, and he's trying for Roshan once again.
Yeah, the
pings are already out.
Yeah. They realize this is going on. The question is, are they going to be in time? It looks like they will be. There is a sentry ward there again, though. Scandal is already scouted out. He's getting burned as well. Looking for the entangle. There goes the hit. No split just yet. They need to take him down before then. And they do. Swap in. SFG in some trouble, but cooldown coming down on 3. Blow Your Brain getting stunned up before he can do anything else. Gets another stun to the face and an entangle, and he'll die as well. And KP pick themselves up 2 people, the 2 core heroes from Empire, and will now take Roshan in peace.
Yeah, those are really big kills for KP to pick up there. Taking down both the Brewmaster and the Gyrocopter, especially Brew, he almost got the split off.
Yeah.
The stun hit, the entangle hit, and then the Breathe Fire from Dragon Knight to finish him off. So huge pickups there, and they get a Roshan as a result of it. Dragon Knight gets his Shadow Blade, so he's going to be able to play even more aggressive now, and Lone Druid, he gets even more farm as well as an Aegis, just in case anyone ever thinks about killing him.
And of course a lot of hard disables coming off from KP. I mean, there is a Magic Missile, there's a Dragon Tail, both of which are very hard to dodge with the split, as there is a bit of a cast time there. So Scandal having a pretty tough time, and we already saw also Blow Your Brain couldn't do anything because he doesn't have a BKB, and he doesn't even seem to be building it either. He went for a Blade of Alacrity, so we'll be heading towards a Yasha most likely, unless he changed his mind and decides, you know what, I'll still go for that BKB. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does, because those disables are really hurting him right now, as Empire's Light of Heaven is creating some more gold for his team. Takes down the first tower on the side of KP, as the Clairvoyance goes down here in the jungle. That was a Vendetta and a Blink from Scandal that did the job there, so nice kill for Scandal, as his Aghanim's will probably be the next item that he'll build, but yeah, good pickup, and again, shutting down clairvoyance. The longer they do that, the better they have it, because split push is a long way away without clairvoyance being farmed up. Oh, that bear though instantly forces them away. In the meantime, Light of Heaven still goes down. The swap was there, I believe, otherwise he would... Was he really that far up? Apparently so. No swap used. Just stuns, disables, kills. Dragon.
Yeah, and level 1 swap doesn't actually move very far. So, pretty much wherever they died is where they were, if Vengeful Spirit's below level 11. Lone Druid's picked up phase boots now on the bear, and nothing really up on his hero yet, so just getting the bear a little bit faster. He's been using that Midas, so he's getting pretty high in level, even though he was sort of a tri-lane. So doing pretty well for himself. Amazing shots are called Light of Heaven. It's true, it's been a long time though.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
That was like almost 2 years ago at this point when we saw a lot of Light of Heaven making the amazing Windrunner plays. Post TI1 stuff.
Well, that's before my time. Well, no, Light of Heaven has hit one shackle that was actually on 2 people. In this game, I believe. Otherwise, power shots are, of course, still on par. Light of Heaven has got quite a bit of farm for his team. He is sitting as second highest in terms of net worth. Of course, as a third core, third role, he is sitting at the right place in that case. But he does have himself a mechanism for his team, so more fights would be more fights would be longer, and giving maybe Scandal time to actually survive and get himself a split off. And of course, Force Staff is being used, built rather, right now by Light of Heaven as well. As we do see the Yasha completed up on the gyro, so Bloody Brain went for that. I'm kind of expecting to see a BKB after that though, but we'll find out, as it looks like we're seeing Empire looking for a fight, wanting to take down Eternal Envy. Spider senses tingling though, he's very careful. He has also still got his Aegis.
Yeah, he has Aegis, and he doesn't need to really put his hero in a position where he can get ganked. They don't have really anything to pull him out. They don't have like a Bat Rider to like lasso him and pull him closer, or like a Vengeful Spirit swap or anything like that to get him in a weird position. He can just stay pretty far back, and then they're forced to commit really hard if they want to kill him, just because he's tanky. Anytime the rest of his team is sitting bottom, and now they're going to be able to set up a push onto this tier 2 tower.
Wow, my mouse just stopped working. Never mind, it worked. It works! Okay, move the camera again. Yeah, we look like we see KP going for a tier 2 here. Fortification already forced out. The smoke was up on Empire, but they are forced towards their bottom lane to try and defend this. Doesn't look like they'll be able to defend it though. Shackle doesn't latch, and the tower will just go down. Might be getting the nice swap in. Blow Your Brain in a lot of trouble, getting stunned up, netted up, stunned up again. Here comes Scandal with the blink, with the split. But his gyrocopter already down, bear up in the air, but the Radiance burn is still there, and the hand of God will make sure that KP stay alive. Buyback happened from Blow Your Brain. He's gonna land a nice call on up on 3 heroes. Able to also pick up the Vengeful Spirit, but in the meantime, his bear, as well as his Light of Heaven, goes down, and he goes down for the 2nd time in one fight after buying back, and that's gonna be a tier 3 tower as well, if not more.
Yeah, that's a buyback of Gyrocopter. Brewmaster actually got killed in his ultimate. They killed all of the Brewlings, as we call them. Yep. Yeah, Brewlings. So the Panda split, they just died. The bear got resummoned and just killed them all, and there's not much they can do. Eternal Envy's so farmed that he's just kind of killing everyone in the middle of the fight. The burn also doing a lot of damage, simply because they have to commit pretty hard to kill everyone. Come with me with that mechanism, with that level 2 Hand of God. It can keep his team alive for a very long time. Dragon Knight naturally tanky, and Lone Druid naturally tanky, so they're in there for that fight for the long haul, and that Radiance is just burning the entire time. And Empire just not able to survive during it. They end up losing an entire lane for that fight.
Yeah, well, I think if they didn't go in, they might have only lost Blow Your Brain with the swap, of course, on a tier 2, but ended up indeed just losing a lot more than that. And KP, after that fight, 12k ahead in terms of net worth. They are going to try and take down the bear, though. They will use a lot of resources on it. If, yeah, that's a dead bear. That's 300 gold to SFG, but I think Light of Heaven, actually, Eternal Envy, he needs to resummon his bear in only 22 seconds from now. He still has an Aegis, by the way, but it will vanish in a couple of seconds. Of course, that was the reason for KP to fight. They had that Aegis. They could try and continue going for it, but yeah. 1 and 3 in the last meeting with the Russian team. That doesn't sound very successful. I think it looks here like they're trying to change that record though, as we have a Sanj and Yasha up for the Dragonite right now. Tier 1 tower top. Some trouble though for KP, but it doesn't look like they're really caring all that much. They'll just prepare their next siege upon the middle lane. And here comes Screen already TPing back because Illuminates need to be set up. Here we go. Yay.
Yeah, they're trying to spam the Illuminate to stall the push-up, but the bear just kind of laughs. And that's another tower down. Love Druid getting that last hit. He's got 5,000 gold up on him. And I don't know what he's building next. Has a lot of options. AC is one that comes to mind. That would be pretty powerful here, but he can build really anything at this point. He's really far ahead. We see he's got 6k net worth lead on Blow Your Brain and the Gyrocopter. That's pretty substantial for 24 minutes into the game.
Yeah, 24 minutes only, and this is a very, very fat bear. I mean, we do have a lot of new items picked up, including a Blink Dagger up on SFG, so maybe with that we see Empire maybe allowing them to be a bit more aggressive, but it's very tough to do so. I mean, KP, they have locked down the bottom lane, they've locked down the middle lane, even with the sentry ward there as well, so even the Vendetta won't be able to get himself away there. And top lane is basically the only lane that they still have left. They are trying to kill off Garda though, but he has a Shadow Blade of his own. So they're not even gonna try. They're just gonna TP themselves out, realizing they wouldn't be able to do anything, and no vision there. As by the way, Scandal, he's got 2,300 gold. No sign of an Aghanims just yet. I'm not even sure that he wants to buy it, and he actually goes for BKB right now than anything else. Or never mind, he sells it again. Confusing. But the Chen does have an Aghanims.
He went for Vlad's actually.
Wow.
He had to get something mid-game.
Yeah.
BKB doesn't actually matter all that much for Brewmaster. It helps him like get his ult off if he wants to blink in, but realistically he can get his ult off if he just doesn't try to clap after the blink. And yeah, Vlad's will give him the aura. It's a lot more trying to just cling on, gives them some damage, the lifesteal for his guys, the armor aura, to try and survive during this next fight. Aghanims, he wouldn't have it in time. BKB, he probably wouldn't have it in time, and it wouldn't matter because he wants to just be ulting anyways.
So, KP. You think they're gonna go again before the next Aegis is up, or are they really gonna try to farm until the Roshan is up and just try to starve Empire until that time?
I think most teams probably would just try and close this out because of how far ahead they are. KP seem to really enjoy just playing super passive. So there's almost no chance, I think, unless Empire forces a terrible fight and they like Empire wipes themselves, that KP are gonna actually try and force something without an Aegis.
Could definitely be possible. By the way, Dragonite got reworked, I believe, right? Because as I look at his shield, it's like, hey, he didn't have that shield before. But it's actually just a normal one.
Yeah, this is what the normal Dragonite shield looks like.
Really? Did it look like that before also?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why the picture for Dragon Tail is it. It's the same picture that's on his shield.
But I don't think I've noticed it before, so okay.
Well, most people probably just always have like a different shield.
Yeah, true. Very true. But yeah, KP, I agree with you. We've seen them play passive most of the games that we've seen of them, and just being counter-aggressive, so going in when they had the possibility or going in when your opponent does something stupid. And until then, we probably will be waiting for a little while only, because Roshan is up again in just a couple of seconds. KP not moving their way over there just yet, probably wants to have the lane all the way pushed out before that. And yeah, that is the case, so they'll rotate themselves to Roshan probably right now.
And we're going to see Chen with the Aghanim Scepter. He's had it for a little while, but he's going to have the 30-second cooldown, Hand of Gods now, so that means he can possibly get it off a couple times during a fight, and that's a lot of healing he's going to be able to throw out in these fights. And Empire don't really have the damage, I think, to burn through this.
So Roshan goes out.
Yeah, Pilot I picked up a medallion too for the armor reduction.
And the double damage room coming off for Garda, so this is the Roshan down. All that needs to happen is Clairvoyance pushing out top, which he's already doing, to make sure that tier 2 tower maybe also goes down before they start pushing in, because I think the last push that KP is going to do, the next push will be their last, or they'll aim to have it their last push.
Yeah, and they're looking to be pretty well positioned. Clairvoyance actually might be in some trouble.
Yeah, Vendetta being used for that Light of Heaven, looking for that Shackle, but there's the Sprout, the Blinking is still there, the Shackle as well, and Clairvoyance will go down. That might delay it a bit for KP. They might not want to go in with 4, but then again, Clairvoyance has not really been that big of an impact in these fights. And still with 4, this is still a very dangerous team, and they're gonna be 5 again as well, as Clairvoyance just TPs himself to mid, Illuminates fly through, and they will be able to still take down the tier 3 tower. Power shots, here comes the Brewmaster, the Fire Pound already down onto the next pound, and look at how fast they go down. Can't do anything, it's just 2 disables right now. Illuminate will continue flying, the Colon comes as well, Blow Your Brain might be able to do something here, as Garter being forced back, Stun will hit up on screen, no more Illuminates from him for a while. Blow Your Brain though, and Tangled goes down, buys back. A nice impale up on 2 on the back end of things as Skylar moves back towards his normal self and will go down as well as Pylite dies still on the back end of things with Blow Your Brain. If he goes down again, that's gonna be the second time in this fight that he drops. And once again, for the second time in the game, he died in a fight, fought back and died again, and that is the cue for Empire to call out the GG. KP tick themselves 3 points in StarLadder Season 6, while Empire take another loss to their name, unfortunately for them. Well, I would say a convincing game for KP, but it wasn't really not even that, was it? I mean, it was just, I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty convincing for them. Lone Druid has just so much farm.
Yeah.
And they gave a bunch of farm to Chen to come with me as well. And really with those 2 heroes big, there wasn't a lot Empire Slam could do against it.
The BKB on the Gyro.
The BKB and the Gyro just really didn't matter against the farm and Lone Druid. The bear was hitting so hard and very quickly, and the roots go through BKB, so Gyro just, he would get stuck anyways, and then the bear's hitting him for lots of damage and he went down.
True. Well, we're gonna see another game though, as the last set, of course, that you just saw, it is Chen with me. It is a signature hero of Come With Me, though apparently his records only show a 2 versus 8 winnings per year. That's 2 wins, 8 losses in 10 games played. Chen, that's not really that much, but nonetheless, a signature hero for him. We are gonna see 2 more games tonight though. It is StarLadder Season 6, day number 18, that has 7 games in total. This was game number 5. We will be heading ourselves over to game number 6, which is Mouse Sports taking on IC Cup, so I'm hoping you're sticking with us. We'll be right back with you, and of course by we, I mean Hjort, at ProHjort on Twitter. And also my co-caster Kanaz, at KanazDota on Twitter, and myself, at SheeverGaming on Twitter. So stick yourself with us. I already said that. Let's just jump ourselves to the next game because I'm starting to get awkward.